When I was 7 years old, my dream was to move to Hollywood to be a famous actor by the time I turned 15 years old. I declared this to my family. I wrote it down on a piece of paper. I posted it on my bedroom door for everybody to see because I knew in a few years I was going to leave home and spread my wings. So I did move away from home when I was 15 years old, but it wasn't to Hollywood. It was to the world stage. I found myself in South Africa, and this was during the tumultuous years of apartheid. I was there as a foreign exchange student. South Africa was in a state of emergency due to heightened racial tensions and state-sanctioned segregation. It was a very intense time to be there, and it was my first time out of the country, a radical change from my small-town upbringing in Salem, Oregon. That experience as a teenager to be living abroad blasted open my worldview and radically expanded my sense of possibility. I just realized, wow, there's a whole world out there, and I've just begun to scratch the surface. I wanted to learn more, be more. I realized that I became very passionate about social justice issues and international education. I dreamed that every young person would have the opportunity to travel abroad as part of their education. The seeds to my vision were planted, and I even began to see myself as a changemaker, even for me as a young person, that I could influence change in the world. I spent my 20s living all over the world, Moscow, Paris, London, Tbilisi. I was doing some really interesting things, and I was following my heart, but I really was unsure how all of these seemingly different experiences were going to connect. I wish somebody had assured me that the dots will all eventually connect. If I'd known that then, I'd feel a lot better. I wish that somebody had told me, hold the vision, but let go of how it looks. Because if I've learned anything on the way to vision, it's that it never looks like we think it's going to look. We never get there how we think we're going to get there, so we should just let go of that. But if we stay committed to what we want to create in life, we will get there, but it'll be probably in a very unexpected way. So finally, after 10 years of traveling the globe and after the tragic events of 9/11, I was inspired to start my big, bold vision and create this organization called OneWorld Now. This was an organization that was serving young people who'd had the least opportunities to travel abroad, mostly low-income minority youth. And OneWorld Now taught these young people language skills, gave them leadership skills, and scholarships to be able to travel abroad. Finally, my dots were connecting. Making this dream a reality was the most difficult thing I've ever done in my life, and the most rewarding. I'm so glad that I did it. Fortunately, I had a very inspiring, visionary mentor, Bob Walsh, who sadly, I'm sad to say, actually just passed away this week. I just found that out a couple days ago. Rest in peace, Bob Walsh. But what he taught me was to always follow my dreams. He taught me that an ordinary citizen can change the world. He came up with these major world events, bringing together citizens from nations that did not even talk to each other, and everybody around them telling him those were impossible. That would be impossible. But he made it happen anyway, and he never listened to people, and he never gave up, and that really influenced me. I too wanted to inspire and influence young people in the way that Bob had with me, with doing the work at OneWorld Now. I too wanted to show them an expanded sense of possibility and this idea that everything is possible. This was the underlying message of the leadership training that we did with our young people. And in those 12 years of working at OneWorld Now, I realized that besides giving young people the tools, if you give them the encouragement to believe in themselves and to see in that possibility, they will always rise to the occasion and they will surprise us if we give them that space. And these young people did. And I watched them pursue their dreams. I watched them travel to countries and places that they thought they would never be able to afford to do. I watched them create social ventures to bring positive change in their communities. And I watched them, many of them, being the very first in their family to ever attend college. And that was inspiring. I realized the greatest gift that we can give to a young person, or for that matter, any person, is this expanded sense of possibility. I would tell the young people, we may not be able to control our circumstances. Many of us are born into situations that we cannot control. But the one thing that we can control is our minds and our beliefs. We often get in our own way. Our mind can be our prison or our vision. Change on the outside starts with change on the inside. And if you can dream it, you can be it. Think about it. Think about all the major innovations in our world today. Everything started with vision. Everything. All the things that we take for granted right now. The iPhone, anime, self-driving cars. All of those things started with a vision in somebody's head. Think about all the great social movements, the cures, a women's right to vote, the first man on the moon. All of that started with an idea in somebody's head. And usually, when that idea first came into the person's head and they announced it to the world, everybody around them said that is ludicrous, crazy, not possible. But they did it anyway. And now those things we take for granted as normal. Remember that when you are considering your vision too. And some visions take years to manifest. Think about Nelson Mandela, his enduring vision. For 27 years, he was in prison. 27 years before he was freed and then became president of the new free South Africa. Incredible. All things start with vision. My vision has taken me all over the world, talking to so many people about what's possible. And I realize that the world would be a better place if we all lived our vision. And I'm quite sure that everybody would be happier too. And the thing about vision is, it's contagious. When you finally write that book that you've always wanted to write, when you finally travel to that place that you've always wanted to travel to, when you finally start that company that you've been dreaming about, you inspire the people around you to be courageous too. We all have a vision inside of us, all of us. I think the thing that gets in the way most of people living their vision is that we don't give ourselves permission to dream. We don't give ourselves permission to dream. This is the one thing that we can control. What if we started asking ourselves, what brings me the greatest joy? How do I want to be feeling? What if I just lived the best year of my life? What would that look like? What would I be doing? How would I be feeling then? How would the world be different if I was really doing what I wanted to be doing? And how would I be different? Everything starts with vision. Only we can ask these questions of ourselves. But if we take a moment to actually connect in our body, in our bones, with what that might feel like, to see that possibility in ourselves just for a moment, to get that sparkle in our eye, then we know we are connecting with vision. And that is a very powerful thing. We all have a vision inside of us. It's up to us to do the deep listening, to access that inner space, to bring it to the outer world, to ask ourselves those deep questions, to be courageous, to be bold, to allow ourselves. Remember, everything starts with vision. And this complex, challenged world needs our collective vision now more than ever before. I invite you to awaken yours. Will you join me? Thank you very much. ありがとう。